Good morning, everyone. So today I'll be playing a little bit with the new summer collection from LDRSCreative. They did send these items free of charge for my review. Of course, all opinions are my own. Any links I have in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. These particular items are on LDRSCreative, not on HSN. I know people kind of conflate those. Just because that's maybe where you first saw them. So yeah, this is on the LDRSCreative site, but like I said, I'll have the links for you guys there so you can jump over very easily. So today I think I'm going to try out the Birdhouse's border. Really sweet die. Nice little inspo on the back there. Super cute. We have the Garden Friends, and I think I'm going to accent my card with maybe one of the little birds or something. So I have the stamps and I have the dies that go along with it. And then we'll do a little stenciling with this Brocade stencil, and I think that's probably where we will start. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to grab some inks and some paper and things, and we'll just jump right in. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about the glare. I have my magnetic mat here. So we're going to use an A2 size card base today, or at least that's what I'm going to do. This looks lovely in a slim line, of course. It's a nice size for that. Let me measure this for you. Oopsie. All right. Yeah, it looks like it cuts to about 8, well, let's see, 8.5. What I do want to point out with this guy is that it cuts all this top part, but this bottom part would stay. So if you want to trim that away, you can do that, or you can leave it, you know, on its own border, make it the type of die that it just cuts into your paper, you know, so you have that extra. Really cute. Oh, and it has little texture here, even the little bushes. That's really cute. Let me put that to the side for now. So that's what I'm going to do. And I cut this piece of paper, it's just some green cardstock, to like 4 1/4 by 5 3/8. And I think I'm just going to stencil this with green. So it's just to add texture. I know it has flowers and things, but I'm just going to use it as a little texture here and there. And I'm not going to stencil the whole thing, just here and there. So I suppose I can stick all this down. To be honest, I've mixed these up so much now. Like this says it's the Summer Shore pack, but I don't know that the olive branch is actually in this pack. But that's what I'll be using. It might have come from a different jewel pack, and I have, you know, several here, so we'll use that. And a brushy brush. So you can do a little practice, but I'm just going to go right in. Just be kind of playful with it. So again, just some fun stenciling. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not looking for perfect. With stenciling, there's like a little fun. I'm going to take a peek and see if that's about as much as I want to do. Maybe a little more here. Okay, so now I'm gonna make it dark here and then lighter over here. That way there's still a little texture back there, but not as dark as down here at the bottom. So the cardstock that I'm using is textured, so it gives a little bit of texture on its own just because of that. Yeah, I think that's good. Maybe a little in here. Okay. So as you can see, I start off darker down here, kind of fading up there, just so that there's some texture in the background. And then one other thing I want to do, let me clean this off really quick, is I do have an envelope here, and I'm just going to do a little stenciling on that just before I put this all away. You could always clean off your stencil and come back, but I'm just going to go right into it. Again, just a little something. Alright, then we have a little coordinating envelope. Okay, I'm going to clean up and then wash this off and I'll be right back. So I'll put these things to the side for now. There we go. And I think the next thing I'll do is go ahead and cut out my birdhouses. And I have a piece of craft cardstock here. And I'm just going to run that through like that. Of course it's, well, it might release because it's going to edge to edge, but if this bottom part of it will still be attached, so this top part will cut off. We'll talk about that in a minute, you'll see. I'm just going to run that through and I'll be right back. Of course, if you have a smaller die cutting machine, you could always cut your paper down and run it through. Because it's not too wide. Let's see, it's about just over 1.5 inches. And I'm going to cut these up anyhow, but so what I'll probably do is go ahead and trim this paper down. But I'll leave a little bit just so you can see what I mean as far as that it would stay on here if you wanted it to. So I'll leave a little bit of my paper, I'll run it through, and I'll be right back. So all these little pieces that fall out, if you want to cut those out in accent colors like little hearts, you can definitely do that. Or if you want like black behind the little birdhouses. Let me do that. Okay, so you can see this top part will remove because I went basically edge to edge of my paper, but it stays on here. So if you want to keep that there, you can definitely do that. I do need to keep a little bit of this. And what I'm going to do is when I look at my card is decide where I'm going to put these little guys. We're going to decorate them in just a second. You know, do I want like just these little guys down here? Do I want to layer some up, go here, and then maybe layer some a second layer? Or do only one peeking in over here, one peeking in over here, a couple over here. You know, you can layer them up however you like, just cut them down. Run another one through if you need that much more. So I'll think about that in just a minute. So I do have these pieces. I'm going to end up coloring these. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to place them yet, so I'm going to wait on that. So I have those pieces ready to go. And then I have a piece of marker. I'm getting tongue-tied. Crafter's Companion Spectrum Noir, like marker paper, they're smooth cardstock. And what I'm going to do is just stamp one of these little guys, my little birdie. You know, I'll stamp both of them because I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. So I'm going to stamp both of these guys with some hybrid ink, and then I'll just color them in with some alcohol ink markers. So I'll stamp those little guys, and I'm going to stamp them both at the same time. And hybrid ink is good with water-based markers and also alcohol ink markers once it's dried. So you just want to make sure it's nice and dry. And people always ask what this is, and I always have a link in the description box for you guys. It's the LDRS Stamp Pendable. It just helps you kind of rub over the top, and you get pretty great coverage instead of trying to use your fingers, you know, in every little spot. Okay, I'm gonna let these guys dry a little bit, and then I'll color them in. Okay, and these little guys, you know, you can look at the packaging for inspiration. I mean, I like bluebirds, so they're colored a little blue, a little gray. Oh, you know, I didn't get the yellow for the beak, but I'll do that in a minute. So, you know, just basically most of his little body's gonna be blue, so I'll start with the lightest blue. Of course, I'm using the die press alcohol ink markers, but whatever marker you're using. I like to start light, then dark, then medium, then go back over with light. Whatever you like to do is just fine. So I'm going with dark, just here and there. Now the dark is really dark, so I don't want to put too much. And I'm just putting it where you would think there'd be like a little shadow, possibly. And I use the nib side so I can control it a little better. And I'm going to go with medium. And when you have a small image, you can just go into, you know, light and medium. A lot of times I don't even go into the dark. Go into the dark. And then we have our light again and bring him back through. And with alcohol ink coloring, you are supposed to saturate the paper. And I mentioned this before, and then somebody had asked if this paper bleeds. No, if it bleeds through to the back. That's not the issue. What you want to do when you're looking at a marker paper is make sure it doesn't bleed, right? So as you're coloring, you don't want it spreading out and feathering everywhere. And this won't. If you're using like a regular cardstock, it will. You might be able to get like by doing a little bit of coloring, but if you're really blending, it's going to start feathering out. You are supposed to make the marker color come all the way through to the back, and that's how saturated it should be, so that you get the best color, you know, coming from your markers. So that's just a tip. So just because it comes through the back, that's not a problem. That's what you want. Okay, and then I just have a light gray, and I'll just add a little around his little tummy. Just a little accent of color, so it looks like we didn't forget about it, but it's just white. And then I'll grab some yellow and just really, or orangey color, and just pop it in his little beak there. And I'll color this little guy, and we'll start putting it together and see what we need to do with our birdhouses. Okay, so let's cut our little guys out. So all of these items are sold separately, so if you, on the LDRS site, so if you wanted just the stamps, you know, you don't have to pick up the dies, but if you want the dies, they're available. Let's see here. I'm trying to see which one of these guys is the right one. Hey, there we go. Alright. And what I noticed last time I used these, or whenever I use the LDRS ones, you can see pretty well through there. You can see that. If you want it to be more exact, again, just do that little aperture trick where you put like a little piece of tape on a scrap piece of paper like this, run it through by itself. This will fall out, and then you can see through that aperture to where you exactly want it, and then go ahead and tape it down and run it through again, and then you'll have that perfect placement. But I'm going to eyeball these, I believe, and then I'll run them through, and I'll be right back, guys. So we have our little guys. Oh, adorable. Look at that. So cute. And then we have our little houses. So, like I said, I was kind of looking at it. Do I want it to be like here? Maybe cut this off. Or maybe just a few of them. You can do just like these 4 in the center, these 4, however you want to do it. I feel like what I'm going to do is cut this here. I don't know if I'm going to keep the whole little bush. And if I knew that I was going to keep this on here, I would have used the guillotine to make it nice and straight, but I cut pretty straight, as you can see there. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And let's say that's going to be there. And then we have another row of birdhouses we can put at the top. Excuse me. So I'm going to take a little bit off of that. And I'm going to take the little bush off of here. I think that's sweet. So we have like a little neighborhood of them. I don't know if I'm going to keep this little bush here. So it'll be something like that. And then we'll have our little birds to kind of play with and tuck them in here and there. Okay, so these little houses, how I'm going to decorate them. Now you can run them through again with different colors, and then just, you know, you can just take your scissors and notch off. Like, let's say you ran this through in red or something. Oh, what's in my nail here? And you just then snip that off, and then take that little red piece and pop it on here. So I don't know if you can see that has like little holders, so it's very easy to do that with. But I'm going to use these markers I've had for a while. They're like these acrylic paints, and I'm going to use fun colors, maybe even white if I can use white. You can probably do this with gel pens too, or your markers. I just wanted to sit on top. I didn't want the color to like suck into the things, but I'll just show you what I'm trying to do. I'm just going to put a little scrap paper back here. So let's say like for this little guy, I'm going to take this red paint. So they're going to be pretty bright. Look at that. And I think, should the base also be the same color? I'll think about it. I might go in and do the bases too. So the next one maybe I'll do in blue or something like that. And then just go around and color them in. Okay, now I'll be back. Okay, while I let those dry, look how cute. This one has like a little flower box. So I just painted the same color as his little house there. I'll let those dry. I am going to put the sentiment, I think, right on this. And I think I have something going here, and then the house is here. So up here in this corner, So the stamp set does have some little puns, but you know, like what'll I do without you? So cute, cattail you, how much you mean to me, and those, you know, things kind of have to do with like what's in this stamp set. So I'm going to take this from Garden's Edge Slimline. Beautiful stamp set. It does have a die that runs around the edge here if you wanted to do that. But I think with this one, let's see, a friend. Here's one of a kind. I think I want to put hello lovely. This is cute. And like I said, this paper is textured, so I'm definitely going to use a stamping tool in case I have to stamp it a couple of times. And so let's say it's about right there. Hey, pretty good. I can see on this line it's right on there, so not bad. Alright. And this time I'm going to use VersaFine ink, because like for sentiments I always like using this stuff. It's nice, it's juicy. If you wanted to use embossing powder over, you can definitely do that because it stays juicy for a while. And see, with it looks pretty good actually from up the distance, but if you look really close you can see that texture. So I'll just stamp it one more time. And then I'll leave it at that. How funny it left the texture on the stamp. Like you can see where it had like little spaces. Yep. Alright, I'll be right back. What I'm going to do in the meantime is let this dry, but I will go ahead and glue this to my card base, okay? So when I come back that'll be done. Okay guys, so I have that stuck down. I'm just kind of playing with these. I think that's where I want those to be. Okay, there's so many ways to cut these down and layer them up and make a whole village. Super cute. What I thought was cute, these little doors, they actually, you can pop them open if you wanted to. The little shutters or doors there. So cute. Pretty straight. This one's still a little bit wet because I went a little overboard with that green paint, but I'm going to glue that down basically right there. And I'll be right back. Okay, we have our little birds. I put a little dimension on the back of this guy. I'm going to go ahead and stand this little guy up here. So I'm just going to glue him down flat, but if you want to put dimensionals, that's good too. He's kind of like telling a joke over here. He's going to slap his little knee. And then this one, I just put on dimensional. It looks like he's kind of in flight and might land, so I'm just going to put him here. They're having a good time. And that's my card. Again, there's so much you can do with this, so many ways to mix and match it, and super sweet. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you LDRSCreative for sending these items for review. I'll have some images for you guys. Again, I'll have the links in the description box, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye now.